The family of Renee Good, the 37-year-old mother, shot and killed by ICE in Minneapolis nearly 2 months ago now. They're opening up about their lost loved one. Thanks for joining us at 10. I'm Jennifer Meckles.
And I'm Phil Lipoff. In their first on-camera interview in Colorado, where some of the family still lives, Good's parents and two of her brothers say they still have not watched the horrible moments in the video, final moments of her life.
Have you watched the moment Renee was shot?
I have not. I can't bring myself to do that.
I think we've all intentionally just let that go.
The most we've seen is when, you don't have a choice and you're just, something pops up and you see a split second and you realize what it is. And I think all of us have been just pretty quickly not continuing to watch.
The only thing I saw of that day was her saying, "I'm not mad at you." And that was so Renee.
Those words to the officer.
Mm-hmm. I'm not mad at you. And that was just her.
Good's family says she never mentioned any concerns about immigration operations in her neighborhood or even plans to monitor ICE. But the Department of Homeland Security says Good had been blocking ICE officers and was ordered to get out of her car, but instead accelerated toward the officer, who DHS said fired in self-defense.
They said she was ordered to get out. She hit the gas. She was driving toward an officer. What do you make of that?
I think they have their narrative. I think they have to support their narrative. And we'll just let that go and really get back to focusing on who we know to Renee she was to our family.
So about that ICE officer who opened fire, Good's mother says she prayed for him. When asked why, she said, quote, "We all need prayer." Another U.S. citizen, Alex Preddy, was shot and killed by ICE just weeks later. The killing sparked outrage, as you saw, across the country, calls to rein in immigration enforcement.
ICE is now hitting back at Denver Mayor Mike Johnston's latest executive order. That order bars ICE agents from city property, calling it, quote, legally illiterate. That's what DHS is saying. The executive order was signed yesterday. It bans federal immigration agents from city property like buildings, parks, and rights of way. It also directs Denver police to protect peaceful protesters near ICE operations and investigate the use of excessive force by federal officers. Mayor Johnston was asked about that order again today.
We get questions from residents every day about what will happen if we see the kind of forces of troops descend on Denver that they saw in Minneapolis. And I think what our residents want to know is that any law enforcement officer that operates in Denver will be transparent, will be accountable, and that the rule of law still applies.
Despite his executive order, DHS now says local officials do not have the authority to stop ICE from carrying out immigration enforcement operations on public property.
Today, Denver hit 60 degrees or above for the 40th time this winter season, starting December 1st. That means 45% of our winter days have hit at least 60 degrees. Even though it's been happening every single day, it barely computes. And that trend is going to continue throughout the weekend, and who knows how long. Oh, wait a minute. Corey knows how long.
Do you, Corey?
It's still unbelievable. I mean, you'd think over and over again we'd get the picture, but it's still just kind of stunning to have all these 60-degree days, and we've got 3 more of them lined up for you before we get a slight weather change. So it was a great looking night, at least. Take a look at the Twin Peaks of Meeker and Longs out here. Doesn't have a lot of snow on it, but we do have a pattern that's starting to develop for next week and the week after that favors the Front Range a little bit, so we could get a little bit more snow on Meeker and Longs coming up in a few. I'll talk about that in the full forecast. We've got a mild night on our hands here. Still 50 degrees here downtown, 49 out at Denver International Airport right now. We do have one fire weather warning for tomorrow. That'll be to the north. It does include Fort Collins and Cheyenne, also out across the Pawnee into Logan County as well. Temperatures in the morning going to be pretty mild once again here. Most of us will be above freezing here in the Front Range and Eastern Plains. 3 more 60-degree days coming your way here over the next 3, and then the pattern changes. So I've got some explaining to do with some nice precipitation outlook here coming up in the forecast. That's next.
Despite dangerous fire conditions today, South Metro Fire Rescue crews made quick work of a brush fire down in Parker. Initially, they called an air support, even went door to door evacuating people in the area, but they were able to cancel both. The flames burned about 8 acres before they were contained, all within an hour. Officials say that fire sparked in an area that had multiple homes under construction, but still no word on what caused it. As we have seen recently, fire danger in Colorado does not take a season off, and neither do the systems designed to keep you informed.
But after a data breach late last year hit one widely used alert platform, some counties actually turned to using new systems to make sure warnings still reach you in time, which is so crucial. 9 News reporter Colton Chavez has more.
With winter still playing out, Colorado remains alert as unseasonably dry conditions and strong winds continue to raise the risk for fire danger.
It's been one of the busiest winters we've had on record for Douglas County.
For Mike Alexander,
correct.
Part of his job as Douglas County's Director of Emergency Management is knowing how they will alert communities to threats like wildfires.
We used Dougco alerts on the Dahlberg fire just this Tuesday of this week. We issued it to about 20 residential homes in the area.
Alexander says the county made the transition to that emergency notification system after Code Red experienced a data breach last year.
We've had it for several months now. We transitioned from a previous vendor over to Dougco alerts, and we've found great success with it so far.
A switch that Alexander says the county knew had to be done quickly.
It is such an absolute need. It's a necessity for public safety, and we knew that we were coming into a challenging season.
During the transition, Douglas County leaned on a state-run backup, IPAWS, the same system Thornton Fire Department is relying on now as it also moves away from Code Red.
And that's what we do in emergency management, is plan for those eventualities, have backup plans, and backup to the backup plans.
Alexander says with fire danger tied to conditions and not a season, that sense of urgency never really goes away.
We want to ensure they get that emergency message when seconds matter.
Emergency responders here in Douglas County know this won't be the last time that strong winds like today fuel the grass fire that burned right here next to me. And while they didn't use a Dougco alert for this incident, they say it will remain an important tool year-round. In Douglas County, Colton Chavez, 9 News.
Colton, thank you. County and state officials say they are investigating 3 cases of Legionnaire's disease associated with the Ritz-Carlton Bachelor Gulch in Avon. All cases occurred in visitors to the valley and no deaths have been reported. That certainly is the good news. Officials say the onset of symptoms happened between July and December of 2025. All hot tubs and spas at the resort were closed immediately after Legionella bacteria was detected from sampling. These facilities have recently reopened after extensive remediation, and follow-up testing confirmed the systems are free of the disease. The Ritz-Carlton Bachelor Gulch has also implemented guest and staff notifications following this finding. Meantime, health officials say there is no risk to the broader community.
This afternoon, state health officials confirmed another measles case in Colorado. This one found in a child who lives in Broomfield County and did not receive their MMR vaccine. There have been potential exposures across 4 different cities. Broomfield High School sent a letter out saying students and staff may have been exposed last Friday and Monday. They wrote, quote, "If you are not vaccinated for measles, please do not attend school starting today, February 27th. And in order to attend school, you must present proof of measles immunity." Health officials released these locations for potential exposures across Broomfield, Lafayette, Louisville, and Westminster, including a King Soopers, a PetSmart, a restaurant, and a few health clinics. We have a full list of all of those on our website. Officials say the child has no known connection to another recent exposure reported in Colorado and has not traveled outside of the state. And because there is a lack of a clear source of infection, public health officials suggest that means unidentified measles cases might be moving through our community. And new data released today on measles cases show an already concerning trend is actually getting worse across the country. In the U.S., as of yesterday, more than 1,100 confirmed measles cases have been reported across 27 states. In just the first 2 months of 2026, and already 6 times more than typically expected for an entire year. Most of the confirmed cases this year are children ages 5 up to 19, so children to young adults. Kids under 5 are the age group with the highest number of cases. The CDC says 92% of measles infections are in people who are unvaccinated or they do not know their vaccination status.
The Longmont YMCA will close its doors tomorrow. Officials cite the loss of federal funding and not enough full-time paying members. Child care programs will continue, but gym memberships, we're told, will end. The city of Longmont is exploring whether it could acquire the facility, but officials say there are some safety concerns. No agreement has been reached as of now, and community members say this is a big loss.
My wife, Catherine, and I met in this pool right behind us 30 years ago. A little depressed, sad.
We're sad, we're sorry.
City of Longmont will officially end fitness operations, we're told, at noon tomorrow. YMCA of Northern Colorado says otherwise across the country are struggling as well. A split border survived an avalanche, in part thanks to some quick-thinking rescuers in Grant County.
Yep, happened on the west side of Berthoud Pass yesterday, and 9 News reporter Shalima Maharaj got to talk to some of the rescuers.
That's right. Search and rescue crews say the split border got caught in the slide but managed to stop before going off some steep cliffs. Now, that rescuer we spoke to says this was the worst avalanche he has ever witnessed.
And so I'm just grateful that it turned out the way it did.
A sigh of relief from Will Ryman. He was out split boarding with a friend in the backcountry Thursday morning.
We had just wrapped up our morning session and we're in the parking lot kind of discussing things and hanging out
when a massive slide was triggered on the west side of Berthoud Pass in an area known as Nitro Chute.
It was the largest avalanche that I have personally witnessed, and definitely one of the largest that I have been a part of a search and rescue response for.
Ryman and his friend are both members of Grand County Search and Rescue.
It just so happened that a member of Alpine Rescue named Kyle was essentially 2 cars over and offered to join us.
They did a beacon search of the debris field but didn't find any buried. Once the rest of the team arrived, they mapped out a plan.
I can't reiterate enough that the subject's really, really lucky he did not go over those cliffs. It could have been a very different outcome.
Ryman says the person they were able to get down safely wasn't wearing a beacon. He's urging people to pay attention to the forecast and carry the right gear with them.
Given the lack of snowfall that we've had this season, it's really easy to get really enthusiastic when we do get new snow.
But he says new snow can also lead to problems.
And I just hope that folks will continue to respect the mountains and take those conditions seriously moving forward, especially as we move into some of our snowiest months of the year.
Now, they also got some help from the Winter Park dog team. Their canines searched the debris field for anyone who was possibly buried in the snow. They are reminding everyone to carry things like a beacon, a shovel, or probe. Shalima Maharaj, 9 News.